Hello everyone, happy Star Wars Day, and today Disney Plus gave us our new TV show from the Star Wars universe called The Bad Batch. This is a spin-off show from the Clone Wars Season 7, and this talks about the Bad Batch. This is their story of after the Republic collapse, the Empire rises, Order 66 has been given out, and this is throughout this time in Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, and how they are dealing with this entire new situation, this new government, these new rules that they are being established with, and they're being tested by their loyalty, strength, and are trying to find a way out of this messy situation in which they forcefully find themselves in. So, in my opinion, I think the Bad Batch storyline from the Clone Wars Season 7 was a really good storyline. It wasn't the most complex, it wasn't the most exciting, but for a Season 7 renewal and coming back into this world, I think it worked very well. And the Bad Batch themselves were absolutely great. The Hunter is my favorite out of all of them with Crosshair. And now that Echo has joined them, it's going to be very interesting to see where his character goes from the Clone Wars to here now. And what his journey is going to be with these new characters, these new people that he made a family with. So, I think overall for this first episode, it's a very long episode. It's like an hour and 10 minutes long. It worked very well. Though I think with some of the other characters that are not Crosshair and the Hunter, I think they did a little bit of a detriment to, like, they just acted like their characters, like their caricatures. But it was still a really interesting episode. The opening scene in which they all utilized their special abilities to combat these droids, it was very exciting, and once Order 66 hits, it all changed from there. Their loyalties to the Empire, or previously the Republic, have been tested on whether they are going to follow through their orders or not. And it really comes to a head when Crosshair and the Hunter are clashing head on about following the orders like they're supposed to or not, because that's who they are, the Bad Batch. They don't really follow orders much. So that rivalry between these two characters is very interesting for me, because having the possible main villain be of someone in the group, I feel like it's something very unique to Star Wars franchise that they don't do much. Usually it's just one side is good, one side is evil, but here, the fact that they're building up a conflict between these characters is just very unique for this franchise to do, and I don't think it really does it much, but I think it's going to work out in the long run. And the way they set it up throughout the episode with the various confrontations they are pitted against with, in terms of finding out what the Empire is telling them and what they're not telling them, it just makes for this show to be one of the more interesting ones in this entire franchise, because you are getting an in-depth look of what it's like to be a clone trooper in this time between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. So you are being put into a new perspective in this galaxy, and it just makes the story itself, the overall arcing story from Phantom Menace and Return of the Jedi, because that's what's only going to count. They're going to make this entire story feel all the more important, all the more grand, and all the more unique. And I find that some of the works that Star Wars have been doing now, that's put to be taking place between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, all fantastic. I mean, Solo wasn't that great, but the Clone Wars, I found Rogue One to be an amazing movie despite its shortcomings and who made the film. And this, I'm so far loving it. The animation also really good. It is the same animation style from the Clone Wars. So if you're a fan of that show and you're worried that this is gonna be looking different, don't worry. This is the same style. It's of the same vein. You're gonna have as much fun with this as you did with the Clone Wars. The humor is there, and it just makes the Bad Batch feel more like a team. And since this is more focused on them this time around than in season 7 of the Clone Wars, you get that feeling of family, of camaraderie that they have with each other, despite the differences they have. This first episode really set up this team very well, to have us care about them, what they're kind of struggling with, what kind of tics they have. It let us get to know who these characters are as people, and it's going to make the rest of the show feel all the more interesting on the journey they go through. Now, I'm trying to keep as spoiler free as possible because I feel like this episode, you should really check out this series. You should actually check out. But overall, I just had a really good time with this first episode. I thought it was very funny, very action packed. The animation is still great, but the characters themselves just it was just amazing. I love it. I really am loving this so far. And I think if you're a Star Wars fan, you're probably going to enjoy this first episode of The Bad Batch, and you're probably going to be hooked onto this show. So I would recommend this first episode, and hopefully the show itself would live up to what this first episode is setting up. Thank you guys so much for watching. People like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time, and happy Star Wars Day.